Diego Monzon is a physician and a research scientist. He's currently serving as a distinguished member of the Xfinity Lab Scientific Advisory Board. If you go on Xfinity Lab website, you can see his picture and his incredible, profile. His training as a medical doctor and his extensive genetic research has prepared him perfectly for his new role as a WGN's worldwide product specialist. Dr. Monzon has been a leading force in epidemiology research. He has developed significant medical content on interactive software platform and has accomplished substantial work creating strategic initiatives in the area of genetic business and development. Dr. Monzon also earned an MBA degree from the Jane School of Global Management of Australia and Singapore. And as I said, he will play a central role in our product education program. In fact, tonight is the first appointment, and Dr. Monzon will conduct this seminar on two specific topics. The first one is the DNA Health and Wellness report, and the second one is a Nutrapak. Did I forget anything, Dr.
Not at all, Antonio. You did it all great. Thanks.
I was prepared, as you can see. I had my notes here because I really didn't want to forget anything.
No, don't worry.
Incredible, background. So okay. I think you can start whenever you are ready. We have a lot of people connected on Facebook and connected on Zoom. So we have this choice tonight.
Okay, perfect. Good morning and good night to some of you. I will start, first of all, I will share my screen. I'm sorry if you hear me a little nervous. I'm excited. It's not that I'm nervous. I'm really excited to do this. For this first conference, we decided to go just on the basics to let you know what the DNA Health and Wellness Test is, what is this for, and what we're trying to achieve with this. And in the future seminars, you can leave your comments, you can even ask your questions, and then we can have your feedback to know what are the topics that were unsolved, what are the topics that you suggest we should go again or talk more deeply into. But for today, since this is the first one, I just want to explain you the basics of the DNA test, and what better to start that from how to take the sample. So from Xfinity Lab, as I showed you here, I have opened many tabs. So the first one is from the Xfinity Lab. I want to show you the testing process. You can see it there. And you can also see from my screen that I have one Smart Life DNA kit, that this is the one you get for getting the DNA testing. So first of all, I'll just open it for you, show it. You have some envelopes here to send the swab. You have the instructions booklet. You have a little envelope for the cotton swab. And then if you open this part, I'll show you that it comes with a swab, right? So the thing, as you can see on the screen, first of all, you fill out the form. You'll get this envelope. You have to avoid eating or drinking anything for the past half hour. If you've done so, just rinse your mouth, wash your mouth, and then it's going to be very easy. I just want you to peel the swab envelope, and you're gonna do this. You're gonna avoid touching the cotton swab, the tip of it, because this is the one that is going into your inner cheek. So basically, you will brush for 15-20 seconds in your inner cheek, and then you're gonna put it into you can put it into a glass without the swab to touch anything, because the swab is the one we're gonna get your DNA from. This is very important. You open it, never touch it. You will only grab it from the back end or the lower end, not the one with the cotton swab. And then you just do this. You do this for 20 seconds, rub your inner cheek, then let it dry for another minute. And then after you're done, that's why you have this small envelope. So you're gonna open it and you're going to introduce it. Once you do this with the first swab, you're gonna do it with the second one. You're gonna do it in your other cheek, your left and right cheek, right? Put it in the envelope and then ship it to us. And then in 6 to 8 weeks, we're gonna have your complete DNA testing results ready for you. So I'm going to jump now into the Smart Life portal. As you can see here, this is a sample one. You're gonna have this dashboard where it appears everything linked together. So as you can see here, we have the life log, we have the DNA, we have the assessment, that is a questionnaire you fill out once. But then when everything of this is combined, this is how we can create the Nutrapak. I will go further on explaining what the Nutrapak is, but for now, I just want you to get familiar with the dashboard. See how everything is important, because it's like a blockchain, right? One, it's tied up to the other one. And then once we complete and we get the artificial intelligence, the oracle, as we call it, gets, it's an algorithm that if it has more information of you, the more tailor fit will be the Nutrapak. So for now, I want you to explain you how the DNA report looks like. I already gave some quick flashes and images on the ones who saw me on Singapore. But for those who haven't, don't worry, I'll explain it everything from the beginning. So here you have all of these buttons. So you have your assessment, you have your life log, that it's basically wearing your Halo device that is going to measure all of your vital signs, and you have to continuously wear it for 30 days in order for here to appear 100%. Then we click on the DNA, and it's going to lead us to this. So after you've done your DNA swab and you send it to us, we're going to send you this, right? Here is all the information. You can download the report or you can view the report. I've already did this, so if you click download, you'll have, sorry, this is view the report and this is download. So when I click on view the report, I'll show you. It is the same information basically. Once you have it in PDF and the other one you have it on your dashboard on your Smart Life Solution portal. You can see the name, the report number, the date. Then you have an overview. You have a nutrition plan, nutrition tips. I'm just going very quick in here because I'm going to explain you with the one that it's downloaded. So here, it is the same information, but I basically like the PDF better. When we do it at Xfinity Lab, we create it this way, so I'm more familiar with. But it's basically the same information. So I'm gonna go, and this is how it looks, the PDF. So first of all, the first page, we have a genetic summary highlight. So what we try to achieve with the report is to make it very comprehensive, very digestible in terms of reading. So you don't need a doctor to explain it to you. You can easily go step by step, getting to know. This is like unlocking your, like an instructions manual. Now your body is talking to you and telling you how your body responds to the different aspects that involve your wellness, right? So first of all, you have your macronutrients, and this is an overall composition on how your diet should be. This is not for losing weight. This is not for gaining weight. This is the composition for you that your body, it's ideal to have, ideally should have. What do I mean by this? Is that there are some diets that have been tested. Some of them have been beneficial, some of them are not. Personally, as a doctor, I don't trust in the diets that cut out completely carbs or cut out completely fats, because each of these type of macronutrients have their specific function in our body. So in an overall explanation, proteins are the one that help us the body building, that involves the bone formation, the muscle, and some connections in the ligaments. Then we have carbs. I like to call carbs as the fast fuel for energy, because they're very easily to digest because of their chemical or form, their chain. It's so easily structured, the chemical compound, that it's very easy to digest for our bodies. So we do need carbs. I don't understand when some people or some doctors recommend, listen, you have to cut out completely carbs, because that gets us into another catabolic processes that since we're not digesting carbs from our daily intake, we have to take it from our body. So this is not good. That's why we have to keep an overall ingestion just with moderation, as we recommend: 15% protein, 60% carbs, 20% fat. Why fat? Well, all the endocrine system, the hormones in our body, are mainly composed by fats. So imagine if we cut out for completely the fats, we get into an unbalance of the hormone formation. So we start getting some other problems just by not having macronutrients intake. This percentage can change from one person to another. So this is why it is so important for the DNA to be done. Because back in, I could tell you, 10, 15 years, we didn't have any clue as much as we have now, or so much evidence of the DNA testing and how does it work, that most of the diets were based on the average people. They were based on the mean. And this means that it could help the majority of the people, but there's some of us that don't fit the mean, that are not the average of the people. So when we do DNA testing, we can start to do more focused therapies, more tailor-fit therapies that can help us increase on our body composition. We want to improve in our health, how we eat, how we exercise. We basically want to feel better. In order for us to feel better, some of us feel sometimes down because we follow a diet, we follow exercise pattern, and this doesn't work. Why is that? Because we're not made the same as the mean. Some of us are different. True, some of us may look alike, may have similar genes and genotypes, but it doesn't mean that we're the same. The DNA is unique for each and every one of us, and that's why I want to explain you how you can be empowered and get more empowered, sorry to repeat, but to get more insight on this report and to improve on your wellness. So as you can see, we've done a summary of all that is in the report. This is on the first page. So we have food choices and behaviors. We have vitamins and supplements. We have exercise and activity. And I won't go into each and every one of these because here is just summarized. So I will go on the next page and explain you one by one how you can get insight of your report. But the most important thing is after I explain it to you, you'll be able to understand your own report from your one-page generic summary highlights. That's how it was framed to, from the most easy to understand, and then we start to explain a little bit more until the scientific part in the end of the report. But if you understand the first part, this is more than enough. This is the pearls that we want to give you that will help you improve on your health. Before going down, I just want to show you a quick, I just gathered some images about the main macronutrient types, because sometimes patients ask me or they're not sure about the different types of foods. So I just want to show you. This is just a wheel showing all types of foods. It doesn't says anything. Some of them already know, but I'm just going one by one to explain you what food group they belong. So proteins are we can find them as much as in animal, like meats, poultry, fish, red meat, and then we can also find them on plant-based. This could be beans, it can be flaxseed, it can be nuts, it can be all types of grains, basically. They're rich in protein, they're rich in fiber, and they help us build our body muscles. Then we have carbs. This is where people get a little bit, it's tricky, because not all carbs are good. We have complex carbs, we have simple carbs. Simple carbs are all refined sugars. What does this mean? Refined sugars is that they're processed to be the molecule, the chemical molecule of the carbs. It's already pre-digested for you to even make it a faster and fuel. So you could say, okay, this is good because I need some type of fast fuel or energy to do my daily activities. But it is not good because the simple carbs are usually very easy to digest, and the foods that contain simple carbs or refined sugars have a lot of energy, more than we need on a daily basis. So suppose you eat a donut, you eat a burger, you eat some French fries, and you're already taking half of the daily intake, or even, I would dare to say, the entire daily intake that you need, and you're taking it in one piece. So instead, we try to aim for complex carbs. The molecules are not like pre-digested, so the body takes a little bit more time to digest them, but not too much time as proteins. So they are still very useful source of fast fuel, fast energy for our body. But the main thing about complex carbs is that they are slowly metabolized. So your body, you can get peaks of insulin, you can get lows of sugar trend, because complex carbs gives you a continuous release of energy. So it's like having a 2018 model car, that it's so efficient, so equalized, so well equalized, that you don't need to put any extra things. Your body will work as it's supposed to work if you eat more of the complex carbs and not the simple carbs, right? Then the fats, I tried to find another image, but this from the American Heart Association was the one that I liked the most. When we say eat fats because they're good for making hormones, we also have to difference the types of fats, right? So this is also tricky. It's not like protein, because once you know food has protein, you can just eat it, and there's no good protein, bad protein. They're all more or less the same. Of course, nowadays there's some evidence that the animal protein is not as good as the plant-based protein. So we're shifting a little bit to the plant-based protein. but that I will explain on another seminar. We can go further down explaining the macronutrients. Right now, I just want you to have an overall view of the three macronutrients. So for fats, the important thing is that we have unsaturated, saturated, and trans fat. Trans fats are the ones that are in the, I'm going back one slide, in the simple carbs.
Dr. Monzon, I'm not sure you are trying to share some slide, but we are still seeing the genetic summary highlights.
Oh, sorry. I'll share. Thanks for telling me.
Of course, no problem.
Let me check. You share? Okay, sorry. Can you see it now?
Perfect. Thank you. Now we can see the pie with different macronutrients.
Okay, so I'm sorry about that. Now I can show you. This is what I was talking about: proteins, animal-based, plant-based. Then we have carbs. We have complex carbs and simple carbs. So all of the fast food and all of that we can find basically on the shelves of the grocery stores are simple carbs. So I would strongly recommend stay away from that and go into the natural section, the one that has a expiry date, because the more natural the food we eat, the better, right? So these complex carbs, as a whole wheat bread, whole wheat pasta, some vegetables, oatmeal, these are rich on carbs, but they are slowly metabolizer, not as fast as the simple carbs, and your body reacts better overall for the fast energy that I was talking about. Then we have the fats. I was showing you this image. So we have the unsaturated, the one that it says saturated, and the artificial trans fat. The artificial trans fat, the last one, is the one we need to avoid the most. I'm not saying that you cannot have a donut, you cannot have a cake, true, but the main thing is to have a balance on these types of foods, because they're not that good. They have a lot of sugar, they have a lot of fat, the bad fat, not the one that help us to create hormones, but the one that help us to create plaques in the arteries. We have to limit the saturated fats. These are the ones that come from animal sources. And the ones we can consume mostly are the ones that come from plant-based. So all types of nuts, flaxseed, olive oil, avocado, these are all very rich on unsaturated fats. These are the ones that are going to help us have a healthy endocrine production of hormones. Then I want to address, just for you to know, so this is linked with the fats that I was talking about one slide before. The difference is that the HDL cholesterol removes the excess of plaque collected in our arteries. So by having more of olive oil, more of omega-3 or omega-6 in the salmon, avocados, all types of nuts, we can help reduce the plaque from the arteries. Consume whatever is artificial trans fat or too much of the saturated fats, then what happens is that we have a lot of LDL cholesterol. This is the one that is bad and we have to stay away of. So I'm going back to the DNA report. That is the one that is of our concern. But I just want you to make this, to note these few differences, because then we can have some misunderstandings when I explain you about these macronutrients. I'm going down. Now the summary section, this is more comprehensive. It's not as summarized as the first page. So it's telling me the same as you can see. The pie chart, now we already know what the pie chart is telling us. It's how our body will benefit the best from a regular diet intake. It's not to lose weight, it's not to gain weight, it's how our body functions at 100%. Then we can have here, we try to explain what I already told you about, what is a protein, how does it work on our body. Then if we go down here, we have the fats, then divided the fats, we have saturated and unsaturated fats. So suppose what happens if you have this warning signal in your report. So this means that basically, according to the evidence and the research evidence that we've done up to date, there's your genotype shows it's not an error, it's just that it behaves different from the average. So if I'm telling you that the average, it's okay by digesting or metabolizing fats, if you have a warning signal like this, is that you may behave differently than the average. So it's like a pay attention to this, because you might to increase your awareness on this issue. You have the saturated fats. As I told you, the fast food has a lot of saturated fats and trans fats. We also have animal fats that come from the meat, from dairy. They're all saturated fats. And then the healthy ones, and that help lower your bad cholesterol, are the unsaturated fats. Going further down, here we did, based on your macronutrient pie chart, we are giving you some nutritional tips. This is not that you're going to limit to this, we're just trying to enhance your diet. We even give you a grocery list of things that we gathered that can fit to your pie chart. Here again, we have how to eat for optimal health. We have the pie chart percentage. And here at the end of the page 5, we put avoid this on the grocery list. So what does this really mean? It's not that this harm you or cause you any allergy. It's just that we try to avoid this because we have identified that according to your genotypes, these types of foods might not be like best friends with your body. Let's put it that way. You might, you can have them, but you might have some upset stomach or some stomach ache. You feel like it's too heavy sometimes. So we try to avoid them. If some food has it, or you're a fan of them, just consume them with balance. I always told my patients, nothing in excess, and don't be radical. It's either too much or nothing. Try to be always aligned in the middle, like try to balance your diet. If you like something, you can have it as a weekend treat, but don't try to make this your daily diet intakes. So Antonio, are we getting some feedback, or
yes,
are you hearing me clear?
Listening, I'm looking at the Facebook comments, and everybody is interested. They're saying that are very useful information. I think that also
Okay.
the way you are explaining is very easy to understand. So,
okay. Do you think I'm going too fast, or the people?
No, I don't think so. I think it's just perfect.
Okay. Okay. Well, great.
Also looking at the feedbacks that we are receiving. So
okay. Thanks, Antonio. Please feel free to interrupt me if you feel like the feedback is telling some problems or asking
I just
me
add that for
to slow down.
Making question, Dr. Diego Monzon will reply. In this format, he cannot reply in real time, but sending messages on the Facebook live chat or on the video, he will be replying as soon as possible in the next few days. And in the future, we will have a specialized, specific email address where you can address all your questions and inquiries specifically to Dr. Monzon, and he will do his best to answer. And then we will also create an FAQ list, so the questions that are more requested will be already answered.
Okay, great. So as I was telling you, now we're moving from the macronutrient wheel. I hope this was clear completely, but feel free if you have any more doubts to write down your questions. I'll be addressing them as fast as possible. Now we're going to move into food cravings and satiety. So what you need to understand from this is that basically all of the information that we put here is what we have gathered from all the medicine research evidence that is out there. Is not only our studies, it's studies done all over the world. Of course, we had to narrow down the good ones from the reliable ones from the not so well reliable. This is all in the end of the report. The category of the research that we studied, the levels of evidence. This is very important when talking about medical research. We categorize them into levels of evidence. I won't talk to you about that because I don't want to bore you, but I just want you to feel free to know, or feel safe to know, that all of these guidelines that we give you, it's provided with the evidence that are up to date. We continue to change as we notice if some of the papers have already been changed, some conclusions were not have a different understanding as of now. Then we try to rearrange the report and give you the up-to-date advice and guidelines for you to enhance on your health.
I have a question. Can you explain us about the food craving and satiety? Because that's a very important, I think everybody has this kind of question.
Okay, yes. So I was telling you that there's this very interesting genetic study that linked that a certain specific genotype was having a missing part in our body, that is the one of the known as fullness or satiety. What does this mean? When this genotype is not present in our body, we tend to overeat. So you have this genotype and you have a warning signal. This means that you don't have that triggering alarm to tell you, hey, Diego, stop eating. So you tend to overeat. So if you, in your report, are shown to have this genotype of food cravings and satiety, try to keep it in mind, because now we're giving you an opportunity to cheat on your body, because you know you don't have that sensor for satiety. So then you can say, okay, this is enough. You can know when is enough food and avoid the cravings and overeating, basically. Then we're going to move into the vitamins and supplements. This is very interesting. I want you to pay attention, because many times the same questions, because they see the question marks, the exclamation points and the warning sign, and they think, oh, I am low on vitamin A, I am low on vitamin D, or wherever this sign appears. But I want you to remember that this is not The DNA test helps you understand how your body reacts and is not the levels of what your body has now. For that, we need to do a blood test, the general blood test, to know if you have low levels of a certain vitamin or you have an overdose of certain vitamin. But with this, we can actually improve our health, because if you see on the market, either we buy multivitamins or we don't. There's only two types of people: the one who take pills, multivitamins, and the ones who don't. But with this report, you can actually see if you need to take multivitamins, or maybe you're paying some extra because there's some vitamins that your body metabolizes very well from the food intake that you're taking. So there's no need to take that extra dose. There are some other cases that your body doesn't absorb that well, that type of vitamin, and therefore you need to have an extra supplement of this type of vitamin, right? So let's take, for example, vitamin A. It's saying your genotype shows that you have difficulty converting plant-based vitamin A, beta-carotene, to the active form of retinol. It is recommended to increase the intake of foods which contain the active forms, as organic butter, eggs, fish, and liver. So what it's telling us is that, okay, if this is my report, I may have some trouble. My body has some trouble absorbing vitamin A. So what should I do? Increase the food intake that has vitamin A to take an extra dose, or I can also take a supplement that gives me a vitamin intake. This goes along for all the vitamins. So there's no need for me to explain each and every one. This is self-explanatory. The language we try to use, it's very exciting about exercise and activity. Okay? Again, what we do is take the research, all the evidence that it's out there on the as of 2018, and we have linked certain genotypes that have either obesity, that are related with obesity, that are related to have better performance to a certain type of exercise or activities. So here, we're trying to give you a ratio that best suits your necessities. What does this mean? Suppose I was doing a lot of cardio before doing this DNA test. Why? Because I felt comfortable. I do like to play squash. I like to do running, but then I wasn't getting too much of like a body muscle, and I was rather getting thinner and thinner, even regardless of me eating even more. So when I saw my radio, it showed that my genotypes respond better to power exercise than endurance. So I of course, after changing my diet routine, getting, as I told you, the appropriate carbs, and getting the right ratio of the macronutrient wheel, combined with the this ratio of power and endurance, I cut my time of doing cardio at the gym, and then I increased my power time, because I only did weights for the last 20 minutes just to say, okay, I did a little bit of weights, but it wasn't my passion. When I changed this radio, I started noticing a lot of changes. So this is what I want you to understand. This is what the power and endurance radio means. And then we have also some other interesting genotypes that we have found through the literature, that some of the genotypes respond better to resistance training. Resistance training, it's different from power and endurance, because resistance training doesn't use its like power because you're doing weights, but you're doing it with elastic bands. You're doing it with your own weights. So it's called like, it's more of a light power exercise where you don't use a lot of weight. You just use your opposite, your own weight in some exercises, and you use some elastic bands to try to do some stretching and power. So here, there's nothing much to say. This part is very important. Cholesterol and blood pressure. Remember what I told you about the HDL and the LDL. The HDL, I'll give you a trick for you to memorize. HDL, remember the H, you always have to have it high. And the LDL, you always have to have it low. Whenever you do a blood test and you see these are opposites. HDL means high density lipoprotein, and LDL means low density lipoprotein. This is not for you to memorize or anything. I just want you to give you some insight about what it is. And remember you that the HDL is the one that is found on plant-based fats like avocados, olive oil, nuts. And this is the one that is going to help you remove plaque from your arteries. So the HDL, the ones that we need to have high, is the good one, and the LDL is the bad. So pay attention if you have a warning signal that you may have a tendency of, let's read this. Your genotype shows that you may not experience an increase in HDL cholesterol levels, the good cholesterol, compared to other genotypes. Okay, so therefore, if you're predominantly using endurance exercises to raise your HDL cholesterol levels, you may want to complement these efforts with dietary intakes. There has been some link in exercise that doing some endurance training can also help you decrease the bad cholesterol. So on top of having a healthy diet, it is also important for you, if you have a decrease or ability to increase your high cholesterol levels, you should, besides having it on the diet, also do some endurance exercise, because when both are combined, they create a synergy and can help you get better results. For your blood pressure, for example, let's read the report. It has a warning signal, and you have an increased risk of higher blood pressure based on your genetic profile. There has been, for blood pressure, there's many reports, there's many genotypes. This is one of the most like well studied. And if you have this warning signal, then pay attention, because most likely if you don't have a proper dietary or daily intake of food, and you don't do exercise, you'll eventually develop high blood pressure. Then let's continue your food choice and behavior. Here we speak about our fats. I've already done that. And I am not going further down, because we, as I told you in the beginning, we start from very easy to understand, a summary page. Then we try to explain a little bit more about each of every part of the report. And this last part is just for those who are picky enough and want to know, where is this evidence coming from? So when you see the purple line, we have what we were studying. Then you have the gene, is the one with the numbers and the words. And then we have the genotype, that is the AA, AT, TT. That's your unique genotype for this gene. So if you go further down, you'll see that for every recommendation that we gave you on the previous pages, we created this, we got it from all of this evidence. So you can go further down. I won't go into this, because this is just to support our evidence and for you to be assured that this is coming from the very best medical evidence, and that a lot of research has been done for you to have these guidelines. This is the same. As you can see, there's a lot of research. We've been developing this over more than a year. And then in the end, we have, I'll just go, the references. So if you have any doubts, you can go to the references. These are all available on Google Scholar, on PubMed. They're available for all of the people. The problem is that these are for medical terms. So what we did is we took all of the research and translated it to you to make it more readable and actually to have a change in our life, because all of this gives us a lot of good value information, but the doctors or the scientists who do it, they don't convert it into actionable plans, and that's what we're trying to do with this health report. So since we don't have time, I just want to let you know that all of this is made for this, the Smart Life Nutrapak. So the Smart Life Nutrapak is what we're trying to, we've been developing. And when we do the DNA report, we do the assessment, plus we wear for 30 days the Halo device. Then the Oracle, the artificial intelligence algorithm has more information to give you proper evidence or proper information tailor fit to you. So the powerful and accurate findings of the DNA health and wellness report combined with this innovative Oracle evaluation to create a highly personalized nutrition program. This is what we call Nutrapak, is exactly what physicians and genetic research scientists like myself have been trained to create, and we're still improving and enhancing every day better and better for you to have a tailor-fit supplement that adapts to your needs. And it's also better to absorb because we don't do pills anymore. We're trying to do sublingual powder, so it's faster the way it gets absorbed. And you can forget about that taboo topic about taking pills, because sometimes when we take pills, we think of us as we're sick, and we're not sick. We're just creating more health, and we're preparing for our future to have a better overall better life. So thank you very much, Antonio. I'll leave you for you to do the closing.
Yeah, I think it was just perfect. I mean, I was excited when you said we are not sick, we are just improving our life, we are enhancing our life. So as we can read in this Nutrapak, your supplements tailor-made. I think that I mean, really, Dr. Monzon, I want to thank you, in behalf of WGN, in behalf of all the world changers that are in the order of hundreds and hundreds connected through Facebook and through Zoom, for this incredible, lecture that was also very, very easy to understand, easy to digest, because we are talking about supplements and about macronutrients. And this is only, I want to just remind everybody that this is only the first appointment, the first seminar or webinar with Dr. Monzon. There will be one every week. We will be posting and announcing on our Facebook page the exact time. We are still defining it will be still this time or not. So also let us know if this is a good time for you. Again, Dr. Monzon will try to answer to all your inquiries and questions. And every week he will focus on a specific aspect about the science and the technology that is behind our smart life solution and our products. So thank you very much again, everybody. As usual, my name is Antonio and I'm a World Changers. Thank you very much, and stay tuned for more news from World Global Network. Thank you.
Bye-bye.